Hi everyone, it's Peter here, just doing a quick flipped collaborate for assignment 2, the essay. So here we are, we'll click in and load up. So assignment 2 is worth 40% of your overall mark for this unit. It is a 1500 word essay, which isn't really long, so you have to manage your words carefully, and it's due at 5 p.m. on Monday the 11th of September, week 9. So we'll have a little look through here in your assignment overview. So this assignment asks you to write an essay, a formal traditional essay that reflects on the key role of education to empower students to participate in a world in which science and technology is embedded through all aspects of our lives. So we have our related learning outcomes here. You can read this. I won't read through that with you. Oh, I will. So you need to critically evaluate single subject and cross-disciplinary approaches to science and technology teaching. So it's not just focused on technology like your first assessment. It is you're thinking about science and technology together. And you also need to critically consider a range of teaching strategies within your essay and how they can be applied to design technology or digital technology. You need to consider how design technology and digital technologies can be integrated with science to create engaging, safe and inclusive lessons. So it's like a whole big picture there. You're having a good discussion about this. What you have to do in this essay, you're responding to these 2 quote prompts. The first one is by Professor Ian Chubb in 2011, citing a survey of Year 11 and 12 students. Our younger generations appear to be disinterested, even disengaged from science, even though they use its applications every day, from their food to their pens to shoes to clothes to smartphones, iPods, televisions and laptops. The second quote is from The Shape of the Australian Curriculum, 2012. Technologies enrich and impact on the lives of people, cultures and societies globally. It is important that as a nation we make connections between creativity, technologies and enterprise as a catalyst for 21st century innovation. We depend upon technologies for food and fibre production, communication, construction, energy and water management, health and well-being, knowledge creation, information management, manufacturing and transportation. So you can see when you look at both of these quotes, they're not just limited to digital technologies. So don't get caught up in just that aspect of it, which I have seen in the past. So throughout the essay, you're going to explore the place of science and technology, both digital and design, in education. So education is our focus. You're going to explore the role of science and technology teachers in equipping and preparing students for the modern world. So, what we do as teachers to set them up as 21st century citizens. You'll explore examples, now this is a key word, we want examples in here, of teaching and assessment strategies for effective and engaging teaching of science and technology. So you're putting your teacher hat on in that part. You need to explore the place of single and cross-disciplinary approaches to science and technology teaching. So a single standalone lesson, which definitely does have its place. They're not bad, we're not saying don't ever do these. And cross-disciplinary, like STEM, or when you link it to literacy or numeracy as well. Support your discussions with relevant readings from the learning materials and your own wider research. You can draw on Discovering Science. You can draw on other units of work that you might have found some good readings in, and also our readings from week 1 through to now will support this essay. Adhere to APA referencing style, including in-text citations and reference list, and that is the reference list is not included in the word count. And there's some additional resources here for you to have a look at, the referencing guide, assignment support, and an essay writing guide, which will be really helpful. I won't look at the submission details overview. I'll click into it, but I won't go through it. So that's just where you pop it in there, and I wish I didn't open that now because I can't get to the next bit. All right, assignment criteria. So 1, knowledge and understanding. This is what we're assessing for. Depth and breadth, academic expression. And this is a three-part rubric. So, knowledge and understanding. To pass, you need to consider the role of teachers' strategy and assessment approaches, including single and cross-disciplinary, within your essay. To gain higher than a pass, you need to consider the role of teacher strategy and assessment like before, including single and cross-disciplinary, but you need to explain them in a little more detail. We want to see some connections being made with the broader context, so that's, where to from here, what people can apply them to in real life in regards to the role of science and technology education. To gain higher than a credit for this criterion, you need to consider all the other things, but they're explained in detail. You've made clear connections with the broader context of education. So there's probably some more references in there and a little more independent thinking. High distinction, we want more sophistication in the essay. So you're really considering assessment strategies and approaches to teaching and learning, including the single and cross-disciplinary, and you make some original connections to the broader context of science and technology education. Now, depth and breadth. The essay discussions are supported by some relevant readings. That's for a pass. So you must have some readings from our unit. And we don't want you just to quote or use the quotes all the way through. We know your essay is responding to these quotes. So the way you write it, you don't need to consistently refer to them, where you can a little bit, but don't keep quoting them in there. For a credit, you respond to the quote prompts in the essay, and your discussion is supported by a range of meaningful examples. So you can have examples that might be used in a classroom, or examples about effective pedagogy, and it's backed by relevant readings. For a distinction, your discussion is comprehensive in response to the quote prompts, and it's supported by a wide range of relevant and meaningful examples and academic readings. For a high distinction, we expect you to synthesise information into your own words. You take on your readings and you show your understanding and how you make connections between these readings and apply it to your response to the quote prompts. So we're looking for a sophisticated discussion in response to that. Academic expression, as always, is worth 20%, which is reasonably high. We expect you to proofread this thoroughly. Grammarly is a great online tool that you can use that might help you along with this too. But always get someone to proofread it, and your ideas are presented in a logical essay format, logical structure. For a pass, there might be some spelling errors or grammatical errors, and you acknowledge your references correctly. So really take care with your proofreading. Have a look at the Swinburne APA style referencing guide. Now I'm just going to talk at you a little bit. So what I want you to think about, this essay is responding to the quotes. However, they don't need to be included within the essay. We'll know that you're responding to them. Some students do include them at the top of their essay. That's not counted in the word count, and that's okay. It might keep you on track, excuse me. You should be able to formulate your own argument in response without including the quotes in the intro or the body of your work. Just keep in mind, within your supporting arguments, keep that in mind, so we want to see that that is what you're responding to, but you don't have to explicitly keep referring to them. Excuse me, here's an example of how you might refer to the Chubb quote in your essay if necessary. The same goes for the Akara quote. So, for instance, studies indicate a paradox exists amongst majority of school leavers who, although embracing technology underpinned by science, are neither interested nor engaged in science. And then you would put Chubb, 2011. So you're responding to the quote, but it's not directly taking from it. You're putting it in your own words. Or Professor Ian Chubb, 2011, discusses the lack of engagement in science, whilst highlighting that applications within the science area are continually being used by society. Although this may have been true, blah, 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 you'll go on to talk about your response to the quote. So you need to position yourself in third person. Academic essays are always written in third person in the way that you write and communicate the main points you want to get across. You need to make your support, or not, you might not support the quotes or completely. So you need to make your support of ideas from the quotes very clear. So in doing this, you don't need to explicitly state whether you agree or disagree within the quotes. It will be clear from what you're writing about. You might find it easier to make links back to the references without directly quoting them. So the role of teachers of science and technology needs to be discussed. Generally in a primary school, a generalist teacher facilitates both of these subjects. So, my understanding, the role of teachers could be a general discussion. This could be highlighted in your discussion about single and cross-disciplinary approaches. But that being said, science and technology do need to be clearly discussed at some point, maybe separately, as they are different curriculum areas. So take care that you are distinguishing between them slightly. So when you think about the broader role of science and technology in relation to 21st century citizens and the role of teachers or approaches and strategy, don't forget to consider and include examples of approaches and strategies and assessment and the single and cross-disciplinary approaches in there. So we want to see examples of how it could be implemented. So sometimes students do get caught up in the two quotes and make them central to the discussion rather than responding to them within your essay. So the thing you need to concentrate on are the discussion points in the assessment criteria, and think about what is the place of science, what is the place of technology in education. So, possible structure of your essay. I would go for 3 to 4 body paragraphs with possible topics. I'll give you a couple of examples. 1, education inspires interest. 2, it develops scientific literacy. 3, it helps develop metacognition, that includes eliciting student opinions on climate change, for example. 4, you could think about STEM jobs for the 21st century, touching on technology being taken for granted by digital natives. Now, 1,500 words is fairly restrictive. What we want to see you doing is weaving the criteria together. So this should help minimise duplication. It also demonstrates a higher level of academic writing style. So the idea of having approximately 4 paragraphs or arguments, this is another example, could include 1, this is probably how I do it, the role of teachers with examples. Your second paragraph, the importance of strategies with examples. The third paragraph, the role of approaches with examples. And the fourth paragraph, linking to the broader context with examples, all supported by literature Obviously you need an introduction and a conclusion. Another idea you could do, different to that, could be using the quote to break down and drive the argument. For instance, your 3 to 4 body paragraphs with the possible topics of education inspires interest. That could be your first paragraph topic. The second one, it develops scientific literacy. The third one, oh, I'm repeating myself, I think, I'm sorry. So, on and on like that. So you can break it up however you want it, but you've got to include examples, practical examples, and literature to support it. So if you make sure all the body paragraphs explicitly cover off all those elements in criteria 1, you'll be okay. Any more than 4 will probably become too broad an argument without the depth you need to meet criteria 2. Let me just have a look at my notes. So you will need to link to the Australian curriculum, possibly in your first paragraph if you're talking about education inspires interest. Approaches, you can make some links to problem-based learning or the 5 E's or real-life learning tasks. Consider teacher attitude, positioning, the role of teachers, engaging, making observation. And then think about assessment strategies and deep pedagogies like real learning tasks, using assessment to drive your teaching approaches. I'm just having another little look here. So broader contexts is simply making links between what students are being taught and why it benefits them out there in the real world in later life. You don't need to refer to, quote, whole content descriptors. You can include some content descriptors to provide evidence of your understanding, but to help with the word count, just use the codes, the alphanumeric code, rather than explaining them individually. So we think it's good for you to apply examples if you're going to do something like that to support why you've actually included that code. I think hopefully that's answered some of your questions, and try to weave examples throughout. Try not to duplicate your ideas and split it up into some clear topic paragraphs within your essay. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions about this, and we look forward to seeing you in our live Collaborate. Thanks, guys.